And we're back. Thanks for joining us again on the Coruscant Knights podcast. We're happy to have you here. My name is Cooper, and alongside me, as always, is Mark
Hello there.
and Jack.
Hello.
Well, that was a really bad impression on my behalf this time.
That's all right. You've had some good ones over
I
the
think
last couple of
I I
weeks.
think at this point I've just started saying hello there and just stopped impersonating.
Yeah.
Probably. How you doing today, Mark? You doing good?
I'm doing rather well today, thank you, Cooper. How are you?
That's good. I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. I'm excited to get this episode
So
underway.
am I. What a
Yeah.
fantastic movie we're talking about today.
Yeah. Jack, how are you doing today?
Yeah, look, not feeling too great, but I'm still participating, which is always good, but I'll pop in
Soldiering
and
on.
pop out.
No, that's fine. Completely understand. Um,
Hope you feel better
yes,
Thank
hope
soon.
you do feel better. And thank you for joining us. So
We
we're,
appreciate it.
we're talking about Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Probably universally recognized as a great Star Wars film. We'll get into that
Absolutely.
a little bit later.
Some great anecdotes about this one.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, just a quick note, if you aren't following us on Instagram, please go follow us. We post updates about the podcast and other behind the scenes stuff. So definitely go check it out. Our link to our Patreon is also there. So if you want to go check out our Patreon, you can find it via the link in our Instagram bio. Another thing, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Not only do we upload these podcasts weekly, but we also do polls. That's a great chance to interact with us and interact with the community. We post some different sort of questions. I think this week it was about the Ahsoka trailer, the recent one, and what we thought
Yeah,
of
the
it.
little teaser.
Yeah, actually, just quickly, what did you guys think of that?
Not much because it was basically what we already had, just a shorter version with about one or two new scenes.
Yeah,
I think the thing is though with those, it would be okay if we already had a full main trailer, which we haven't.
yeah,
It felt a bit weird, like they
yeah.
almost need to release it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll be getting a main trailer soon enough.
Mm.
But
But
we
those
won't be.
polls, the polls we do, they are fun.
They
They're
are
very
fun. They're
interesting,
a bit
interesting and
different.
opinionated questions.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Okay. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, guys. Um, Generally pretty enjoyed by like the Star Wars community. It
I
was
don't think I
directed.
know anyone who doesn't like it, to be honest.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's that many that don't like it. I think those that don't like it don't like that it's kind of away from the main Star Wars plot, if that makes sense.
Well, you see, you know what I say to those people? I say, what are the sequels? This is a
I
lot
thought,
closer to the sequel. This is a lot closer to the originals than the sequels.
Mark, I thought we were going to go an episode without this,
Jack, do you agree?
I'm
but
not saying anything.
you
We're
know
waiting for
what?
the
You're not gonna.
sequels.
You
We're
know
waiting
what?
for
Huh?
I'm so disappointed that it came this early because we almost went all of Solo without it, and Jack stuffed it up, and now, all right,
Well, you know what? It has to be mentioned at least once a week.
Hmm.
does it? Does it
Yeah,
really?
it does.
Oh, well, I don't approve of that.
Well, I can't wait for you to have your opportunity for 3 weeks in the
Oh,
future.
well, I only need 2 weeks, so I'm not defending the Rise of Skywalker. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get on with it. So, Rogue One, directed by Gareth Edwards, first time director in the Star Wars universe. It was written by John Knoll. Oh, no, sorry. The story was by John Knoll and Gary Whitta. The screenplay was by Chris Weitz and Tony Gilroy. Does that name sound familiar?
Certainly does.
Yep. And stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, and everyone's favorite, Ben Mendelsohn.
Yep, what a legend.
Yeah,
One of my favorite characters is Director Krennic.
good. We'll get into that a little bit later.
We will.
We'll start with some facts. This is kind of a bit new. This is stuff that I'm interested to see if you guys knew or it's surprising to you. Okay, so this movie was originally meant to be a single episode in an unreleased show called Star Wars Underworld. Now, I don't know if you know, but on YouTube there was a 10-minute clip released of the first episode of Underworld. It never ended up like being produced,
That's
but
the one with the script.
I I can't remember if it's the one with the long script, but it was like in the Coruscant Underworld.
Yeah.
So yeah, is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was
I
meant
did
to
not
be
know that.
it was meant to be an episode for that. So like stealing the Death Star plans and
Like
explaining.
George Lucas's idea, like ideas
I
too.
can't remember.
Remember?
I'd like to watch the video again just to you know, check it out. But yeah, I can't remember. Okay.
That's
Gareth,
interesting.
yeah,
Mm.
it is interesting. Gareth Edwards initially, and this is something we are talking about before we started recording, he initially had all of the characters surviving the movie, but then Disney did a reverse psychology thing and allowed all the characters to die. They said,
Oh,
yep, that's
wow.
okay. Well, yes,
You
they did
see,
allow.
I'm not surprised really by that.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought, you
Disney
know,
likes to end
Disney's got a
characters.
reputation.
Yeah, for ending characters.
Oh, I thought it was for not killing characters.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Not killing main
Did
characters.
you say that Disney told him to kill him off essentially?
No,
Or did I get it the wrong way
I
around?
think you got that. So Edwards had everyone surviving because that's what he thought Disney would want. But then Disney's like, no, no, you can just
Oh,
kill them off.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
Yeah,
he did it because he thought that. Okay.
yeah,
I
that's
thought you
yeah.
were saying he wanted them all to survive, and then Disney told him to not allow that.
No, 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 no. Tony Gilroy, who we know, he was only involved in the reshoots, but he was credited as a director, which is kind of cool. Oh yes, this is interesting. What do you guys reckon the title means? What do you reckon Rogue One refers to?
Well, literally speaking, it's the code name of the ship that they used.
Mm.
But yeah,
Oh
not
well, Gareth Edwards provided three different interpretations. The
Interpretation.
first one, a military sign, like what you were saying, the code name, Rogue One.
yeah.
The film's place in the series, being the only standalone film at the time, being the Rogue One.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
And
I like
also,
that.
what I think the title definitely refers to, it refers to Jin and her personality being kind of
Rogue.
someone who's always supposed to be a rebel.
What does
Yeah,
mine?
that's kind of I kind of thought of it like that way, but not specifically about Jin.
Yeah,
Mm.
because I think Rogue Jin, like Rogue One, that's what someone's trying to say. I guess if you're putting it into that one.
Well, I feel like it's the Rogue One.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's an interesting thing. Tatiana Maslany and Rooney Mara. Do you guys know those actresses? Yeah.
Don't think I do know.
Is it?
Tatiana plays Maslany, sorry, plays She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
They were originally meant to be cast as Jin
That's
and then supposed to be
interesting.
Jones. Yeah. The Scarif scenes were shot in the Maldives and in London, which I thought was neat. Um, and last thing, how cool is this? Rogue One was promoted during Mission Impossible Rogue Nation simply because of the title
That's
similarities,
funny.
which I thought was pretty neat. Yeah.
And another great fact that is well known that needs to be mentioned: the great Australian villain of the film,
Ben
director Krennic.
Mendelsohn. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
just
about
has
him?
just he's Australian.
Mark, you have too big of a crush on him there.
No, just because like it's Australian. How often do you see them in Star
Yeah, but
Wars?
Ben Mendelsohn is like in every single thing ever.
I wouldn't say that.
He's in
Hey,
quite a few stuff. He's in Batman. He's in Ready Player One. He's in
I
this.
didn't know he was in Ready Player One.
He's a villain in that movie.
So I've only seen that once.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's in a few other stuff too. He just pops up. Good actor.
He's in the um the Darkest Hour. He plays King George.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know him from that many things, unfortunately.
Damn.
I know I need to watch more of his films.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we get to positives and negatives? The best part of the episode.
What about our great little anecdote? Should we start there first?
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Mark, do you want to
Yes.
explain?
Sure. It was well, a while ago now. It was before Andor came out. IMAX in, was it just in Melbourne or was it everywhere?
It was Mel. I think it might have been. I don't know. That's a good question.
Either way, we saw a re-release of Rogue One in IMAX in Melbourne, and we got to see a sneak peek of the new Andor show, and we're all very excited, and we were hoping, and from what we saw, it looked like it was going to be a good show compared to some of the other things we've had, and thankfully we were correct. One of the best shows we've ever seen, Star Wars. Yeah.
I think I think what was quite interesting is that they showed us the Andor preview. Well, actually, first of all, they said it was going to be a 10-minute preview of Andor, and I thought, okay, cool. But like 6 minutes of it was interviews with the
Yeah, that's
cast,
true as
and it was
well.
only
Yeah.
like 3 minutes, and it was a split up clip of the third episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
that surprised me when we saw the show because I thought it would be like we would see like the start of the show, but
yeah,
it wasn't until yeah, like you said, the third episode. I think that
yeah,
clip was from.
yeah.
But also, I thought that was going to be exclusive for it, but then it was like released at the same time, basically on YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah,
Anyway, it was a good
and
experience regardless.
Yeah,
Disney made the poor choice. They interviewed us, but they decided not to use it for their promotion.
Well, they did want to interview us. They did interview Mark and Jack.
Mm.
I did not partake in that for some stupid reason that I can't remember.
Technical issues.
Yeah, technical issues, that's right, yeah. Uh and yeah, I mean that was a good experience for them. They definitely had a couple of shots at Disney, but
that's what happens. Yeah,
You've got proto Coruscant Knights there.
yeah. If you have a go at saying, well, wasn't really having a go. It was just saying, Rogue One is definitely the best Disney Star Wars film.
Yeah, and the Andor looks like it should be good compared to what we have.
What we had
yeah.
before. Yeah, I think that was a diss at the sequels, and I don't think they appreciate it because the ones that they chose to put on the thing was all like the most outrageous, over the top
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
responses. Like one of
yeah,
them was like, "Oh my gosh, Andor looks so good. You know, it's amazing. Can't wait." I was like, "Guys, what? We saw
Yeah.
yeah,
it
exactly.
like not even 10. Like
Have
what?"
some honest opinion there,
Yeah,
jeez.
everyone's just wants to get on media so badly that they'll just
Say anything.
almost,
Yeah,
yeah. So
And
annoying.
so why this is relevant, not only because we're talking about Rogue One today, but that kind of was the inspiring force to for us to create the podcast
yeah.
because we are very much opinionated and not afraid to share our opinions, no matter what anyone else thinks. We will say we'll say whatever. I will defend the sequels. I do not care.
Most of the
I'll defend
sequels.
two of the sequels. I do not care. But yeah, so that's how we kind of came about.
And that's another fun fact for a little fact
That is
section.
another, yeah, very good. Okay. Does anyone want to add anything else before we get into positives and negatives? No?
Don't believe so. I think
No?
you already said, didn't you, that you'll be uploading some of those
Oh yeah.
fantastic little photos and videos from that night
Yeah.
onto Instagram. So go
Yeah,
check it
definitely.
out.
We got a couple photos with some Death Troopers, which was quite neat. Very cool. In fact, didn't one of us make it our profile picture on Instagram? I think I might have.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now we're gonna revert back to positives first because we've done negatives like 3 weeks in a row. Does anyone want to start?
And you know what? It's a great idea because there's hardly any negatives.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, does anyone want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start broadly and then I'll add on to the more specific things you guys say. And that is almost everything about this movie: the writing, the acting, the action, the story. It's just all great. The characters. I can't find much that I don't like about it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sums it up really well. That's a great summary. Anything specific or
Vader is cool. Tarkin and Krennic are cool. All the villains really are really good in this movie. Yeah, the heroes.
wow,
It's pretty
very,
much just
very
everything.
generic. Very
I would
generic.
just add a few specific scenes or bits I like. I really loved the whole final bit of the movie with the Battle of Scarif and
Mm,
base battles on the top with the stuff that's happening on the ground. I think we rarely get to see, not rarely, but we don't get to see often kind of large scale warfare that doesn't involve like Jedi's. So it's
that's
good to,
true.
yeah, it's good to see it happen in this movie. And we don't get much beachy kind of,
Yeah,
chill vibes. It's always
your background.
yeah, like this is a large scale battle in bright light, you know what I mean? Like
Oh
not
yeah, that I think that was really good as well. The lighting in that scene, like it's like you say, it's not often you see a battle on a tropical bright area.
yeah, I don't know. It's just
We would normally get the desert sands of Tatooine or Hoth, so
mm,
snow in Hoth.
yeah,
So,
I think it just feels more real with like
and
having it in a more realistic that's something that you see when you go to like different places in the world kind of thing, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And then like I just was thinking about as well, Crate as well,
Yep.
just an open landscape. Like this is a really cool like the rebels hiding in the trees and that sort of
Mm,
thing. Like not it's not just two lines going towards each other essentially.
yeah, it's good.
So
So that scene in particular in that planet, and I really like the also I forgot the planet name where they bombed the
Edu.
yeah, I liked Edu because it reminded me of a mixture of like multiple planets in one,
mm,
like Camino, Rain,
yeah.
um the planet in Solo where they were doing the train heist
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Vandor.
yeah.
because of like the mountainous bits, and it also just reminds you of I know it's kind of generic, but it reminds you of every basic Imperial base kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Had that kind of vibe to it, like that you've maybe seen in the Clone Wars before, even, you know. But I don't know, I just like how dark and it made it feel a bit more. How do I not um yeah, gritty. That's the word, gritty.
Yeah.
That's a
And you
Had
good
know
more,
word.
what?
yeah,
You
just
saying that just made me think of a great contrast as well, because you mentioned the light of Scarif and the
mm,
dark of Edu. So that's a good.
you know
I
why?
like that you
Maybe
said that.
because Edu, they still had the Empire was still the in kind of control because at that point they still had um Mads Mikkelsen's character alive, Galen Erso.
Mm. And the
Um,
darkness, maybe it represented what they were there to do,
and then Scarif,
assassinate him.
they're getting the plan, so that beam of hope, maybe.
Yes,
Maybe
exactly. Beam of hope.
hmm, you never know.
Okay,
Anyway,
interesting.
those two in
That's a
particular,
good take, Jack. Good job. I like it.
in those particular scenes and environments, just yeah, really resonate with me when I think of Rogue One. So it's good.
Mm.
I'll just add quickly, and just to two of your points. First of all, I think that the actual warfare we get is the best looking Rebels versus Empire we've ever gotten.
Yep.
And it's a very convincing battle. It's not like just fight like ships fighting ships and whatever. There's a plan, and some of the tactics are fantastic. And just it feels very in entrancing. Is that a
Yeah.
word?
It keeps you
Yeah,
on the edge of your seat.
does. And the other point I was just going to make quickly is actually it's about Scarif. It's the Empire's base on Scarif. How cool is the design of the base? This
Yeah.
massive big spire with a satellite on top, and then that just branches out into different things like a web
It is
to the
very,
landing
very
platforms.
cool.
That's so cool, and it's all in this like very warm and inviting tropical environment. I don't know why. I love it so much.
I also want to add to that actually because I didn't think of it before, but I think the stormtroopers in this movie was probably more of a threat than
Yeah.
the stormtroopers in other movies such as sequels, which they just get ran through basically. Well, I know they're not stormtroopers; they're First Order troopers, but it's the same deal. Um, But yeah, the stormtroopers in this one actually felt like they were a threat to the like our main characters. I think the issue that a lot of the Star Wars films has is that these stormtroopers are powerful. Like I know they miss a lot, but they're also versing like Jedi's most of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like Chewbacca and like people who have had experience. Like they don't just verse random. You don't get to see them verse just random rebel like battalion much. And when
Yeah,
they
that's a good point.
this movie, they are imposing threat and they need strategies. They can't just go in there,
Yeah,
mow down them because they have force abilities or something. You know what I mean?
and the rebels really struggle on Scarif, especially.
Just
But
shows that they
yeah,
actually are a bit of a threat, which
yeah,
I
But
hate it. Yeah.
even with like the ego of stormtroopers, you see in Andor, there's that one scene on Neamos where Andor's trying to argue back with a sand trooper
Mm,
who's
oh
just
yeah,
like he's walked into him and is like, I'm doing nothing wrong. Oh, you look suspicious. Like they've got so much authority and power.
yeah.
And I definitely think it's reflected in this film
And
as
what I
well.
think the three times that it resonates with stormtroopers being powerful is obviously Rogue One, Andor, because they're both, and also this is a hot take, but even Han Solo, even like that bit at the start
Oh yeah.
with the Imperial Guards and just how like authoritative they were.
mm.
Just thought, it's actually not.
And I like that you mentioned that scene from Andor Cooper because I don't think I've ever been afraid of a single stormtrooper until that scene.
Mm.
That's it. You just because they're so unpredictable.
K2's
Yeah, like
looking deadly.
you see a stormtrooper and you're like, oh, this will be easy.
Mm.
But it's one single stormtrooper and you're actually kind of afraid of what's going to happen.
Yeah, because Andor's such a grander character though too. That's why it works.
Yeah.
Like if it was any other force wielding, they would just force them and run away.
Yeah.
Mm,
For example,
yeah.
I guess you wouldn't worry about one single
No,
stormtrooper. Yeah.
no.
So yeah, it's good.
Do you have anything else to add, or is that about it?
Until you go off your lists, let's see what
Yeah.
you have.
Oh
And
yeah,
we'll
I'm
see if
ready.
we can add on to them.
First of all, this I didn't put this as a positive, but since we're talking about Scarif, I thought the whole Jeddah sequence was fantastic.
Yeah,
The
it
like
was.
the with this like moving
Jeddah
through the
City.
city, Jeddah City, yeah, moving through the city, and just even the Imperial presence there, and they've got this big Star Destroyer above them. It's like blocking their view of what's going on. So the people are like, "Oh, what's going on?"
And that's another great example of the battle scenes because that bit with the rebels against that tank thing that they're stealing stuff from, like people say the rebels are terrorists, especially Saw Gerrera's rebels, and you really get that sense, I'd say, in this one, because they're not afraid of, what do you call it, like killing civilians, collateral damage.
Mhm.
They're not afraid of that really, and I like the attention to detail, of, like even the rebels' formation in an L shape to block off the tank from going any further down the street, and then closing in behind. Like, yeah, just it's these little touches that make this movie so good.
I didn't
I've got
actually
a
notice that.
I've got some hot takes that I'll mention later in the negatives because
Oh,
I do agree with you on the planet. I think my favorite bit of the planet is not the planet itself because I think it's just generically like sandy apart from
another
the
desert. Yeah.
yeah. However, this is what makes the planet for me is the cinematography in that planet was definitely probably the best. Like Scarif cinematography looked alright, but nothing like seeing an Imperial Star Destroyer over a city and then even seeing the fallen Jedi statues, in the sand.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. This the temple.
Visually, and when the Death Star hit the city, I think it's visually the best sequence for the movie. I think
Hmm.
that's what carries it.
I've always been curious about what the actual like why the Jedi statues are on the ground and everything.
I think it was a old Jedi temple
Yeah, I
planet.
think it
Well,
was.
I think so as well, but there's a new High Republic novel out that is about the Battle of Jeddah. So
But
I'm assuming something went down there.
there was a Battle of Jedi. Yeah, I heard about that apparently
Yeah,
too.
so I'm excited to read that when I can get my book hands on it. So
Yeah. Mm.
okay, now I'll get into my actual positives.
Let's go.
All right. I thought the story was phenomenal. We've already touched on that.
Hmm.
But one thing that I don't think we have touched on yet is the characters. And in particular, I think the balance of characters is really good. You
Yeah.
get just the right amount of everyone to care enough about them. And they
Hmm.
each have an impact to the story. Even Bodhi, who's just like pretty much the plot device to move the story forward, he gets a redeeming thing in the end. He's always like, he's kind of got that timid quality about him, but he's trying to be brave and inspiring. And he goes out and sacrifices himself to be able to, create a connection between the fleet above and the ground forces.
Yeah.
an underrated actor too, by the way, Riz Ahmed.
Mm,
Oh
He's
yeah.
really
he's
good.
good. He did a really good job, as did all the others.
He's in so many different properties. Like I kid you not, I will watch a random movie, boom, he's there. It's I don't know what it is. He's in like four or five off the top of my head that are just like not connected to each other, like random.
I can't say I've seen him in much else.
He's also I'm pretty sure he's Venom's bad guy, was he? Riz Ahmed? Could he? The
Don't
first one?
know.
I don't know, but he's also in
In what?
Prisoners. Oh, no, not Prisoners. Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. So yeah,
Okay. All right.
definitely.
Nice. Haven't seen that. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We kind of already touched on like the action. I thought it was great. I thought it did a really good job at just conveying the tension and the grittiness
Yeah,
between the Empire and the Rebels. Because at this stage, we're kind of getting it in Andor where it's building to be that big conflict, kind of
yeah,
having moments where it's getting like raising the stakes. But now it's kind of like the Rebels can go like face to
all
face
out.
with the Empire and like win. So
Yes, the
um
actual Civil War, the actual Galactic Civil War.
yes. Another thing we didn't touch on, and this is something we've touched on quite a bit actually over all the rewatches. I think the music is incredible.
Mm.
Jin's theme, which is played as I think that as they're heading to Jeddah. I wish I could play it, but the microphone won't do that. Anyway, love Jin's theme. It's fantastic. Set pieces and cinematography, I think I've already touched on that. Jeddah and Scarif are fantastic. And then acting across the board, it's fantastic. At first, my first couple watches of um Rogue One, and this is probably gonna make you guys like dislike me. I thought Diego Luna's acting was a bit off, but now that I've seen him continue it into Andor, I think I've grown to understand it and
You
know
get
it
what
and
he was
like it.
going for.
Yep.
I agree with
And
you
he's
there.
a very broken man. So
Yes, he is.
I agree with you on the acting though. I think it's maybe I don't know if he's been in a lot of stuff before Rogue One.
no, I don't think so.
Like he's still pretty new though. If in
Mm,
my it just gives me that new kind of feeling, which is kind of really good for the character because he's not a perfect character, you know what I mean?
mm,
It's not like if he was playing a Jedi, I think it'd be a bit different, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Mm,
I think it's real his character's perfect for how he does it.
I
I
So
agree.
agree.
Yeah. Also shout out to Ben Mendelsohn, who does fantastic as Krennic. Also,
There's a lot
Felicity
of lines in
Jones.
like one-liners there as well that I think are really good.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them in the quote
Yeah.
section a bit later.
I'm waiting for Mark to say Krennic. I'm thinking of one Krennic line and I reckon he's gonna say it.
I
Mike,
think I think I know which
say
one
your
you mean, but
favorite
I'll wait until Cooper gets to the
right,
quotes.
right now,
Yeah, go now, go now.
say your favorite Dr. Krennic. Yeah, Director Krennic line, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, unreal.
And do an impression.
Yeah.
Oh God, you put me on the spot here. What are we blind? Deploy the garrison.
No,
That's
no.
not the one you're thinking of.
What?
It
What?
was that one is second, but I was gonna say
Oh wait, I think I know which one you mean.
I think I've
Maybe.
forgotten it now. Damn it, I had it in my head. You made me
We
think.
stand
I need
here
to.
on my
Yep,
achievement, not
not
yours.
yours. Yeah, that's the one.
I don't think I wrote that down.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make sure to say it later.
Very well. Oh,
I was also just gonna say Felicity Jones does an amazing job as Jin. I don't know how she is able to act so well in this movie, but like Andor, she's very broken as well as a person, and you can see that once she kind of has this spark to do the right thing, it kind of changes who she is. And you can literally see it. It's when, as soon as she sees her, like Galen Erso on the hologram, her mindset shifts, and you can see it in her face. And
She
even as
just
she's on the ship flying out of the dust storm and back to the rebel base or wherever it was, just her face almost lifts. It's a little bit more positive.
yeah.
So I think that's quite good acting.
She zones out. It's like she's talking to Saw Gerrera and then she sees the hologram and she just zones out completely.
Yeah. That's all my positives. I do have a couple negatives that I'll get to later, but I'll let you guys go first because I've been talking for a bit. So who wants to go first with the negatives?
I don't really have any specifics. So if there's anything you say that I agree with, I'll add on to it.
All right,
Mine's
Jack, go.
very controversial, so I think I will go last. Just to,
Oh, damn. Okay. All right.
It wouldn't
Looks like
be
we're
a
circling back
Coruscant
to
Knights
me.
yeah, no,
podcast without something controversial.
yeah. I think it's
Always.
normally I would go Cooper, like at
Yeah.
this point, but I think, yeah, I think you guys might know a few already, but it's definitely going to be not agreed upon by you two. So I feel like we just go to the more agreed upon negative.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm
keeping us in
excited now.
suspense.
I'm excited. All right. My negatives. First one, I thought the CGI of Tarkin and Leia was awful. They look
yep.
like video game characters.
Like, yeah,
Well,
definitely. They look,
I don't know if I'd say they looked awful, but I think just generally I don't particularly agree with doing that sort of thing. Like just
Leia's
the
CGI in Rise of
they,
Skywalker looked fine, and so does Luke.
Yep.
Luke's
Well, see,
CGI
that's
looks
the thing.
fine.
Like Luke as well in Boba Fett. Like I personally just I don't think I agree with that sort of de-aging or whatever you
Luke
call it.
looked amazing in Boba
I
Fett.
think if they're gonna do something like that, and it did look good, I just don't think I don't think I like the idea of it. I think if they're gonna do it, they should just recast. And I did see the other day, Mark Hamill pretty much said he's done with Star Wars now, and if they really want to do something with Luke, then recast.
That's not a good idea though. I feel like
I don't think they should recast him, but I don't also think they should do the de-aging thing. So either leave it be, or if they have to do it, then
but
recast.
I feel like we haven't had enough. I know like we've had so much Luke, but I don't think we haven't had proper Luke aside from like a few times, you know what I mean? Like no offense, Cooper. I know you like The Last Jedi, but no, it's not
No,
I
good.
no,
do
I get
agree
what
with
you
you,
mean.
Jack.
I think the Luke character now is sure. Some people might like the way he was treated in that, but I think a lot of the fans too just need to see more Luke in his prime. We didn't
Yeah,
get,
which we saw for a little bit in episode 6
yeah,
when he
we
was a true Jedi.
yeah, and no, we also saw it in Boba Fett and Mando. We saw it with them.
Well, yeah, but I guess we did. But
Yeah.
you know,
It's just I think his stories is done. His story's done. Like he's got his arc, but I think we need some filler, actual, just to please fans because
or they could, you know, what they could do. They could do an animation like a Clone Wars style thing.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
would be happy with that.
To be
In,
fair, I would be happy with the Clone Wars style animation. I
yeah,
miss
same here.
that style.
Maybe of him setting up a new Jedi Order or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, we're getting teasers of that. We got teasers of that in Mando and Boba Fett, so
Hmm.
it's not
Yeah,
completely impossible.
and it should be done by Dave and probably John as well, but Dave mainly.
Yeah, after season 3 Mando, I'm not sure about. John, I'm getting John still right.
All right,
This is his
this
choice.
next one's a nitpick.
Yeah.
There is that crying kid on Jeddah when they're attacking the tank.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if you remember her. She's like a tiny little girl and
yeah,
she's
I do.
crying. It's
Hmm.
the most generic cry I've ever heard in my life. And then
Oh,
Jin
and
goes
then
out to save her and bring her back.
yeah,
Why do you need that? Why? That doesn't
To
add anything
show
to the
to show
story.
the effects of war on the youth
and Jin
and
showing where
destruction, and that poor kid got blown up
To me,
by the Death
that doesn't
Star.
add anything to Jin's character for me, nor does it add anything to the
Well, I'd
story. I
say it
already know
does
that
because
the
it shows that
children,
she would put herself in danger to rescue a young child because
when
maybe
before
she sees herself in that child
but
because
that's not who that character is in the first act of the film. She's a very selfish person.
yeah,
yeah,
but
but
I think that's the point. They're showing that she would rescue a child.
yeah, she's not that bad. Like she just needs a path almost, you know?
Yeah,
She's not like she's a bounty hunter, you know? She is a
she
good
has
person.
some compassion in her.
Yeah, she's just independent and doesn't want help from others, you know? She doesn't know where she wants to go before this kind of thing.
I can see what you're saying, but I don't agree
Okay.
Oh, that's
personally.
fine. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
All right, my last point is a positive negative because I can't decide if I like it
Let's
or
see
if
a
I
general
really,
thing.
really hate it. General Tarkin is a bastard in this movie.
That's
The
good.
way he acts and speaks to
Yes.
Krennic
Positive.
is
Uh-huh.
so demeaning,
Yes,
but it's
that is what
so good. But at the same time, it's like, oh my God, shut up already.
that means. It's a positive because you like the acting and because it's written in the
But
way
the
that Tarkin
CGI
is.
acting.
It's what
Well, no,
Tarkin is as a character.
I know, but I just, part
and it
of me
makes
just
you.
cannot stand it.
Krennic is like he's a villain, but it makes you almost feel bad for him because he
Yeah,
put all
that's
that
what I
work
mean.
into it.
Yep.
And it just
Anyway,
shows all like every single thing you can think of. Like it shows that the Empire doesn't care, gets what they can out of people and then shoves them aside. It
Mm.
shows that the higher ups again, they'll just take credit for something someone else did,
yeah. Anyway,
all sorts of things.
I just Tarkin. I can't decide if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It
Tarkin's
just
such a great character. I think I just like all
he is a
the
great
Imperial
character.
officer characters.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we
definitely.
get him more in Bad Batch season 3. Sorry, Jack.
No, he was good in the end of season 2.
Yeah. All right. That's my stuff done. Mark, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you got, anything
Okay.
that was a negative, I think you got it.
All right. Very good. All right.
Did
Okay.
we
We need a drum
mention,
roll.
hang on, did we mention in the positives the Darth Vader hallway scene?
Yeah,
No,
but
but that's kind of universally known.
Okay,
everyone
well,
knows.
we should just mention it. But all right. So what was it? Jack had a controversial thing, didn't he?
Okay, I'm just gonna say 2 words, and I've spoke briefly about it before. Um, and I know you guys don't agree with me. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I will try when I say those 2 words. Okay, Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, I
Uh,
liked Saw Gerrera in
No, no, no,
this.
no. Now hear me out. I don't know what it is. I don't like his character. I don't think I've ever have liked his
Yeah,
character.
you've mentioned this before, haven't you?
I have. Bad
Yeah.
Batch and last week with was it
Solo.
last week with Solo? No. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
No. Yeah.
somehow. But
Was it?
yeah, because I think people were saying it could bring Saw in or something. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
bringing Saw into everything. I don't want to see more Saw.
I think that's what you don't like about it. That is in everything.
That's, I think, probably one of the things. I think because in my head, he is not the only rebel leader and in these factions, and I know he's a big major power in it, but I just don't want to keep seeing the same guy. You know what I mean?
I can
I
see what you're
think it
saying.
speaks to the fact that his network's so
Oh no,
expansive that he can be in multiple places at
I
once.
completely agree with that. I'm not saying that it's not appropriate to have him in. I'm just saying I think it annoys me a lot because
You want some variety in rebel leaders?
yeah, I'm like Rogue One is so unique because of its diverse characters, you know what I mean?
And I think I see what you're saying, and that's what's good in Andor when they mention all these different sort of factions, and we mention it in our Andor episode,
That was
all
better.
these factions of the Rebel Alliance, and then if they wanted to now, they can show all these different factions and their leaders and how they interact with each other.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just because that bit in the Jeddah bit, I didn't like the whole Saw bit. And I didn't like Saw interrogating. I don't know. Just didn't love it, and I don't understand why he just sat there and just died. Thought it was a lame death for someone who's been so influential for the rebels. You know what I mean?
I
Like
Yeah.
understand that.
I just Saw itself. I'm not a big fan of, so that was a bit of a negative. That was a controversial one because I know you guys like him. Also, don't really like how each character has no basically weight to them because they're going to end up dying. Because if they do survive, then that means they're just hidden away, doing their own. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like oh yeah, they just go off and do their own thing, and you just don't see them again.
Mm.
It's in the
I
Rebels
can see what you're saying.
because now that with you have Andor, it's smart because prequels is the best way to do that, obviously because they're dead. But like, if you're doing it on a movie alone without saying, like, it's like saying you're talking about the prequels without the Clone Wars series, right? On its own, I don't think it's that great because the characters are written well and they're good in the story, but like I'm not really worried for them. I don't have that connection for oh no, are they gonna oh he's dead. Okay, I guess kind of expected it. Oh, he's
Mm.
dead too. Oh, probably makes
There's
sense.
that sequence at the end of the movie where they all,
Everyone's just dying.
yeah.
I don't think it had the impact it was meant to that they were trying to go for, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's good that they did die though because it shows how desperate this mission was. But I
Mm.
didn't care that they died. Like I didn't feel affected by it. I didn't really. Oh no,
Well,
that's
I thought it was good that each of them got to have like a moment to help
sacrifice.
the yeah, like they were doing something that was important. So like Bodhi was getting the message across. Chirrut did the switch. Baze was just trying to take out as many Death Troopers as he could. Um, Cassian and Jin obviously died, and K2SO died at the vault. So
And Jin and yeah, Cassian were again the plans sent up. So yeah, it is good that they didn't just die like
for
Sword
nothing.
randomly. Just he could have hopped on the ship with them, kind of thing. I know his time was up, but still, come on. But I think another negative. We talked about it before, but we didn't say it. Darth Vader's voice in this, not
oh
great.
yeah,
Not great. Sorry, James. I love you so much. You're like so good and iconic. I think this was the last time he had his voice, purely just his voice without any additional technology added to it, unlike Obi-Wan. And yeah, it's a shame when these legends age. It just doesn't, you know what I mean? It's annoying because you just wish it could be like it. I don't know. He just didn't sound as menacing when it should have been.
I
Like,
get that.
be careful, don't be careful not to choke on your aspiration.
I like that line as well.
It's a good line, but I just think the delivery wasn't great of it. I don't know. And even the whole point where he's like talking so slow like this. Like I'm just like, I know that's Darth, but like he doesn't in A New Hope, he goes, and you will show me the play, you know what I mean? Like it's
Mm.
more spontaneous
But
and strong.
if I might just add something, I feel like this might be a bit of a far-fetched thing, but I feel like maybe he speaks in less of a aggressive way because maybe
One on one.
there's a bit of mutual respect between what's his name?
Krennic.
Krennic and Vader, maybe being a high-ranking director.
Maybe he doesn't need to show dominance over him because he already
Yeah.
knows so much more. You know what I mean? Like in a
And he's
room
not
of,
an enemy. He's not an enemy.
yeah, and in a room of people, he might need to assert it a bit more.
Like that
Well,
episode in Kenobi.
Reaver.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
gonna say we'll see that in next week's episode when we talk about A New Hope.
Literally. But yeah, that's a nitpick, the Darth Vader voice, but I think I noticed it quite a lot when I first watched it in the movies too. I was like, sounds a bit different here. But yeah, other than that,
Okay.
good movie.
I can't say I ever noticed about that voice. So,
Interesting. Have a search up after Mark and have a listen to voice.
mm.
So it's interesting. It is very
All right. It's time. Mark, what is your ranking for Rogue One?
Ooh, I'm gonna need a refresher on all my other numbers.
thank you. Every week.
Ugh, every eventually when we get to like episode like 8 or 9,
No, we
I'm gonna
won't
need
need to
to.
check when it gets to them.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Okay, fine. You
Savage.
gave The Phantom Menace a 6.4, Attack of the Clones 6.9, Revenge of the Sith 8.5, Solo 6.8. Is this
Okay,
movie
I
better than Revenge
reckon,
of the Sith?
yeah, it's very much on par, if not better, which Jack won't like.
What?
I think actually I might have to go a bit higher than Revenge of the Sith, which I
That's
had as an 8.5, didn't I?
Yep.
criminal.
It's probably about, I'm gonna say 8.7.
All right.
So pretty much on par with Revenge, but
Pretty
I
much. Yep.
think yeah, I think just
Jack.
the fact that there was pretty much no negatives about this movie, as opposed to there were a few in Revenge. But
Fair
That's
enough.
any in revenge for me. That's yeah.
Jack, what do you give it out of 10?
What was I all I need to do is get refreshed on my
Oh,
revenge.
okay.
No,
All right. Fine. No, that's fine. All right. You gave Phantom 5.3, Attack of the Clones 6.1, Revenge 9.8, and Solo 6.7.
yeah, this one's an 8.5.
Okay.
oh, jeez,
That's still high.
That is
That-
it's
high.
high. I didn't realize you gave Revenge so high.
yeah, Revenge is a perfect Star Wars movie in my opinion. It could have been a 10. It should have probably been a 10. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Star Wars movie that's just better than that yet, and I don't think I ever will, in my opinion.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn. All right.
Well, there won't be any more.
Cannot tell me that.
Okay. So I gave this movie a score that I need to explain why I gave it. This is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie. This is better than The Last Jedi. Yes, I'm saying that right here.
Thank you for having common sense.
I'm still saying that Last Jedi is a top 3 movie. I'm just not saying
Oh,
Three, top three.
top 3.
Oh
Um,
God.
So Rogue One is my favorite movie. I think it is the best Star Wars movie by a country mile. And I've given it a 9.6 out of 10. The only reason I have not given it a 10 is because, and I know I'm not meant to be comparing it to anything, but it's really hard not to when you have Andor. And Andor makes this movie look like an average movie.
I don't think it
Andor
makes it look,
is
I think it makes it look better.
Yeah, I
no,
agree.
It
no.
adds
I
to
think
it. It's like the Clone Wars and the prequels.
Andor is really, really good, but I don't think it would be as good if you didn't have Rogue One. I think it only makes it. I think it's so good because of Rogue One. On its own, it's probably really just like a typical, really well written story thriller that doesn't really lead to anything in the like at the end of the season. If you look at it by the end, that nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, but I sort of mean like, so in terms of like what is delivered, I feel like it's very similar, obviously being from the same screenwriters and everything.
Mm.
But just I think that because Andor is also longer and because of the stuff that it's showing, I think Andor is a flawless series. And so because it's so similar to Rogue One, I just think that it makes Rogue One feel inferior in a sense.
You see that? That
Sorry,
to
not
me it
taking that
adds to
back.
it. To me it adds to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
I can't believe you said that. That's
no,
surprising.
that's actually quite very surprising to me.
But isn't that telling the fact that this is my favorite Star Wars movie, yet I still think it looks average in comparison to a series?
I'm just surprised how much you want. Andor is good, but I don't think it's perfect. You said it was flawless.
I said it's flawless.
That is perfect.
I think it is a perfect series.
No, maybe by the end when they finish all this, you know what I mean? Like wrap it up. But season one on its own, nowhere near flawless. Maybe after two, I would say it is. No, not flawless. It doesn't. It has a beginning and a middle and an end, but the end just is not really an end. It's
Yeah, I
like
see.
it's
Yeah.
The
It's an
Okay,
end because
fine.
it's an
Okay,
end of a
fine. That's fair
season.
enough.
yeah.
But
This is the end of a season.
I'm looking deeper beyond the story. I'm looking at like meanings and themes and different sort of, I don't know,
I
just
get it, and I don't want to be criticized for this, but I think that they definitely needed to have more better pacing with action stuff in that show because no,
No,
the,
I think I agree with that.
no, because the story is unreal, and I'm not finishing the one-on-one talks and everything. I'm just saying the first like three episodes before the eye, basically, there's not much that happens.
but
Yeah,
okay,
see, I
so
was gonna say the same thing, and I know Cooper disagrees because he said it a few times, but
Yeah,
that whole arc with the heist, every episode I was thinking, okay, they're gonna start at this episode, and they didn't until like the last
no,
one.
but
character
see,
can
oh,
still happen, Cooper. If they can add stuff that
I
transition.
think I know they were building up and everything, but I think it's because I was expecting action to happen, and then the action never came,
It led
which
us on.
is what you know.
okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but Andor's the arcs are in blocks in years. So the Ferrex arc at the start is 5 years to Rogue One. Then the
Mhm.
heist is 4 years to Rogue One. Then the prison's 3 years to Rogue One. So
Yes,
it's like these
I didn't know
action
that
things are
actually.
spaced out. So it's like
I
you
do know it
can't,
was.
they're not all happening within the same week.
I know, but that's what I'm saying though. But like, as watchers, I'm not talking about story wise. I'm talking about as consumers of the media.
Yeah,
Bold
as
choice.
watchers.
I mean, that's why it was very. People loved it or they hated it.
They
They
love
Yeah.
the story, as we've said. The story was fantastic. It's just that as watchers, we're expecting they were making it out that action was coming very soon, and
never
then
did really.
it never did for 2 episodes.
So it's not good for viewers. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
It was
but
still good
okay,
story wise, but
Yeah,
it's just
that's why I
the
kept.
expectation of action that didn't come until the third episode or whatever,
okay, that's
sixth, whatever.
fine. That's fine that you might be expecting it, but if you look back on it, I still think that that middle episode in between the heist is one of the best episodes ever, just because of its emotional like importance to the character development, which I love. You guys know I love character development. That's like my top tier thing.
And yet
Same.
he likes the sequels.
Hey, we'll get to that in a couple weeks.
Exactly. That's why Cooper surprises me so much. I can't read him.
Just let me like things, man.
It's
Anyway,
so hard.
I was just gonna make a quick point that isn't it good that you can expect this action, but then maybe you feel a bit disappointed in waiting, but then the payoff is so good. because I still think that heist is like fantastic.
Yeah, but you see, I think the thing about that is the fact that we had to wait a week for an episode, and then I was expecting action, and then we had to wait 2 weeks to get the action we were expecting. But if you watch it, in one sitting,
One whole,
then it would probably be better.
definitely. Mm.
I
Okay,
think,
fair enough.
yeah, I think it was just from the way they released it that we had to wait about 2 weeks to see that happen. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, with the
Okay.
prison arc though, I reckon waiting a week's better. Makes it feel like they've been in there longer.
I agree. I agree. I think like the prison arc, especially, I think the
That did feel
weekly
drag.
thing worked really well for that.
But see, that felt drag, but that was necessary drag because it makes you feel hopeless.
Yeah,
And
exactly. That
this one
yeah,
felt like it was just leading to like, just took so long. I
yeah.
couldn't get around it. And especially when you didn't know who the characters were. You know what I mean? Like at first. So like these are new characters and they're dragging it on about nobody's really. But like by the end, apart from Andor, but by the end, you know them better, which means like, oh, I would like to watch more about them now, but too bad some of them are dead, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
You made the point about dragging it along with people we don't know. That's exactly the reason I like it because we get to, I don't remember their names, sorry, but like getting to know who these characters are, and then that makes the betrayals at the end and the deaths like more impactful.
There's no connections to them.
That's what I
You
liked
could say
about
that about
the
Rogue One.
that's what
No,
I liked about the prison arc, Kino Loy, and I can't remember his name, but the rebel who's in Rogue One. He was
Yeah,
in
so
that.
it's exactly the same thing.
it's,
Yeah.
it's different in a way. I can't explain it.
But
Like,
how is it different?
okay, apart from the blonde hair girl, the guy that betrays and the guy with the note thing, the other people there were just expendable. You can't tell me you were so excited to see what happens to them.
Okay, that guy that was a part of like who was working as like a double agent in the Empire, I thought that was pretty interesting.
No, but he was actually, yeah, but that's the thing. He was in, I'm not talking about him. He was actually interesting because he had a purpose. The blonde haired girl barely had a purpose. She was just, what's it called? He's the leader of the group.
Vel,
Well, yeah. Apart from after, I'm talking about early episodes. She had no real purpose for that heist mission.
she was the person who was like deciding what was going to happen. She was the one instigating the plan.
Exactly, but that there's no connection for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna
Really?
find her until after everything. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to say,
Damn.
as viewers, that one episode alone is not gonna get me into liking nobody characters. You know what I mean? I need like more, but then I want the action to break it up because you can't just focus. That's all right. We're going on around here.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna
are
say
going on.
I
Tangent.
think as much as the Andor chat is fun, we should get back to Rogue One.
We've already done an Andor episode. We need to do an updated
Yeah.
Andor
Yeah,
episode.
because we can do like
We could
Andor,
do,
but there's
we could do episodes about the arcs if we really wanted or
too
something, but
much to talk about with Andor because it can like
Well, it is relevant to this series, to this movie.
it's yeah. Oh no, I'm talking about generally Andor on its own. It's so unique that it's hard to like specify one thing every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's continue.
All right. Well, I just need to calm down there. You get me a bit heightened here. All right. So we've got some fantastic quotes from this movie, and we're gonna run through them. I don't know if we should do the meme version. I think there's like not enough to do memes, but I'll say them and you can decide. You can react accordingly. This one's actually not a meme one. This is just a normal. I like this one. Galen also says, "You're confusing peace with terror,"
Yep.
and Krennic's response is phenomenal. He says, "Well, we have to start somewhere."
Yeah, it's crazy.
How insane is that line? It's
yeah,
crazy.
great writing, isn't it?
Yeah. Like he's basically saying, I don't give a damn. I don't
Mm,
care. Let's
yeah.
just do this. Um, K2SO has some fantastic lines. He says, I find that answer vague and unconvincing. Jin and Cassian both say this line, trust goes both ways.
Mhm.
Um, Jin, another good line. I'm just worried they might miss you and hit me. And K2SO said, doesn't sound so bad to me. Rebellions are built on hope. That's actually Cassian and Jin who say that again.
Mm.
Chirrut, the strongest stars have hearts of Kyber. And then also another Chirrut line. You almost shot me.
I'm surprised you haven't done his most
And then
famous line.
another cheer line. Are you kidding me? I'm blind.
Ah, that's funny, that one.
What about his most famous line?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that as well.
He says it
Um,
2 seconds.
I don't think I know what.
I'm one with
What?
the force and the force is with me. I'm one with the
Oh yeah, I've got
The
that
force is
later.
with me. I'm one with the force, and the force is
Yeah,
with
all
me.
right. We've said that now, so I don't need to say it. Okay. Saw Gerrera with a fantastic line to Jin. You can live to see the Imperial flag reign across the galaxy. And then Jin says, not a problem if you don't look up.
Yeah.
Those two lines have always stuck with me since I watched that movie.
They are powerful lines. And
They
that's
are,
Cassian's kind of realization we're not going to go back there anyway.
and I think that line can be applied to many people in real life.
Yeah.
True, but that was meant to be the link though with Andor. He was trying to say, I don't look up at the things, I ignore and turn the other way, but then realize that you can't anymore because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's like action, you know?
You can't look away if it's everywhere.
Yeah. Another good K2SO line says, there's a problem on the horizon. There's no horizon.
Yeah, that is how you write comedy right there.
Yeah. Um, Saw save the rebellion, save the dream.
Oh,
I cannot remember who said this line. I don't need luck, I have you. Is that Cassian?
No, no, no. I think it's Chirrut Bays.
yeah,
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yep. K2SO says to Jin, "You're a rebel now."
deploy the
Um,
garrisons.
hang
What are we
on, hang on, hang
blind?
on, hang on. I'm
Deploy the
getting there. I'm
garrison.
getting there. I'm still on page 1 of 2. Just chill out.
I'm so excited.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations.
Aspirations, director.
Yep. I'll be there for you. Cassian said I had to. Another great line. Another fantastic Cassian line, I'm pretty sure. You might have to correct me if I'm wrong. Hang on. Cassian line. Or is it Cassian? Yeah, it is Cassian. It says, make 10 men feel like 100.
Yep, that was Cassian. Yep.
That's such a cool line.
There's another
Mark,
Chirrut one I just thought of. I don't know if you're going to mention it or not, though.
I don't have any
It's
more cheer quotes.
it's the part when he says something like, "What does that man look like?" And he's like, "What?" Then I think Jin says, "What do you mean?" And he's like,
Mm,
"Does he look like a killer?"
yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's a good one.
I
Every
like
line
that
in
one
this
because
movie could be quotable,
she's
right?
like, what and what do you say? The force moves or something around
Around
darkly
him.
around someone who's prepared to kill or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I really like that part as
That's a
well.
good line. It was just too long for me to write.
Yeah,
So my
more of a
apologies.
scene, really.
Yeah.
Mark, I'll let you do this Krennic one. We all know what it is.
Is it the one I did before?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, the main one that everyone knows that Krennic does.
What are we blind? Deploy the garrison.
There
Yep.
we go. Yeah, yeah.
And
They're
then
my
the
other
other
favorite.
one, I thought you might have meant the other one.
No, I meant that one. Chirrut, I'm one with the force with me. Jin, do you think anyone's listening when
Mm,
she does the satellite thing?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
If you
then,
think about it though, like imagine all that work, all that death and
Didn't work.
everything, and you don't even know if you've succeeded.
Mm.
oh yeah, well that as well, yeah,
Well, they knew once they got the transmission at
No,
least.
but
yeah, but
they
they won't
don't
to
they know
know.
it's sent, but they don't know it
Yeah,
was received.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no. I'm talking about at least they know it's sent. You know what I mean?
Like they
They
died not
figured it out.
even knowing if they succeeded in their mission or not.
100%.
mm.
That's the scary thing.
Mm.
And the last quote, and this is one that will stick with me every time I watch this movie. Rogue One, may the force be with you.
Mm,
Powerful,
mm.
powerful.
That is good. I
But
have
I
a
think,
question for you
yeah,
guys. Do you think C3PO was put in this movie just so they could continue the
Yep.
tradition of having him in every movie?
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why else is he there?
Well, he was. I mean, they did have a good excuse. He was like at the rebel base. So
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Good point. Um, I think I don't know which one I like more out of the quotes. The you're confusing people with terror, well, we have to start somewhere, or the you can live to see the Imperial flag reign
yeah,
across the galaxy, not a problem if you don't look. I think that one's probably the better
I
one.
think that's the one that I've always had in my
That's the most
mind.
impactful one.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack, do you reckon you're up for a game?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right, it's time for the
Sick.
Rogue One edition of Who Has More Screen
Woo!
Time?
I'm gonna win this time, I hope.
I don't remember what the score is, to be completely
I
honest.
think
One
Jack
up.
won last time, and before that we were
Jack did
drawn.
win last time after your guys' pathetic
So
performances. I've got to
essentially,
admit.
Jack's ahead by one. That's all we need to know.
This one's gonna be hard because there's so many minor characters.
Well, I've changed it a little bit so that you guys can stop picking different ones just because of the sake of it. Well, kind of. I've
Oh,
gone three
oh,
comparisons.
that could make it even
So you got
trickier,
three
honestly.
choices.
Yeah, I could make it.
It could make it trickier, and that's I don't know. I'm just trying to mix it up so you guys
I know
Make
stop.
it's
it
fine.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, you
Change is
started
as
this,
good as a
Jack. You were the
holiday.
one who was choosing the opposite one to
No, that
mine
was
just to get
one
trying to get
time.
points.
One time
Doesn't
because I had to
matter.
catch up to win. I
Yeah,
was
but then okay, all
behind.
right.
One
And it
time.
failed.
Yeah.
Number one, who has more screen time? Bodhi, Director Krennic, or K2SO?
Hey, two.
K2SO.
All right, we are off to a bad start. Not only did you not pick correctly, but you picked the lowest amount of screen time.
Really? That
Believe it
I
or
thought
not,
Bodhi would have had the
yeah,
least.
Why Rogue
believe
One's
it or
good?
not, K2SO has 9 minutes of screen time. Krennic has 10 minutes. Bodhi has 11 minutes and
What?
45 seconds.
I thought
Yeah,
Bodhi was the lowest.
Yeah,
not a large difference between them. 2 minutes.
no, Jack, come on. We've been playing this game for 5 weeks. There's never a big difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, all right, we're 0 for 1. Who has more screen time? Chirrut, Baze, or K2SO?
Sure.
Well, we now know how much K2SO had, don't we?
Yeah, but you don't know about the
I don't
others,
know the
so
others.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Chirrut as well.
Who's
all right.
same again?
Congratulations, you both have got a point.
Yes.
Yay.
Chirrut, 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh,
K2SO, 9 minutes. Baze, 8 minutes, 15 seconds.
it wasn't going to be Baze. Yeah.
Who has more screen time? Mon Mothma, Lyra Urso, or General Draven?
Which one's Draven?
Mon Mothma.
The guy who orders Cassian to kill Galen Urso.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Who'd you say, Mark?
Mon Mothma.
Mon, Jack? Mon, Lyra,
Okay.
or Draven?
I was gonna say one to be different, but because you hate that, I'm gonna go Mon.
All right. You're both 2 for 2. Well, 2 for 3.
Yeah.
You know who I was
Yes.
gonna say? The mum, but
Of course you are. So
yeah.
Mon has only 2 minutes and 15 seconds. General Draven has 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Lyra has a minute 30.
Mhm.
Who has more screen time? Baze Malbus. Wait, hang on. I think I missed one. Yeah, I did. No, I'll just do this one. Baze Malbus, Galen Urso, or Saw Gerrera?
That's
Mmm.
hard.
I'm just trying to remember the name. I have it. I know which one I want to pick.
Baze, Galen, or
Yeah,
Saw?
Galen Ursa.
Galen?
Yeah.
Jack?
So early off.
Baze, Galen, or Saw?
Not Baze, not Gay. Not It has to be Galen. Come on, it has to be.
So you both went Galen. You are both wrong.
What?
Saw Gerrera, 4 minutes,
That's
45
surprising.
seconds. Galen, 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Baze Malbus, 8 minutes
Oh,
and
yeah, 8
15
minutes.
seconds.
I forgot that he had 8. Yeah, well, to be fair, I should have realized that
Mm.
the last one.
Who has more screen time?
Why whispering?
Admirals.
Didn't hear who you said.
Yeah,
Ah,
we're
fine.
so
I'll just
quiet. We didn't hear.
fine. Admiral Radis, Bail Organa, or Lyra Urso?
Radis.
Radis.
Yeah, agree,
Mark,
Radis.
you are both wrong again. Admiral Radis, a minute 15. Bail Organa, a minute 15. Lyra Urso, a minute 30.
Oh,
Oh,
15 seconds. Wow.
Of
wow.
course. Of course. It could be 2 seconds difference.
By the way, I think the scores is like, is
It's
it
two.
one
I'm keeping track. I'm keeping track.
all? Or-
Yeah. It's 2 all. 2 left. Who has more screen time? Darth Vader, Mon Mothma, or General Tarkin?
Darth Vader.
Jack.
It's obviously between Tarkin and Vader. I'm going
Darth Tarkin and Vader.
Darth and Tarkin. Let's go Darth.
You both went Vader?
Yeah.
Well, you're right. Mon Mothma has 2 minutes 15. Vader has 3 minutes. Tarkin 3 minutes 15. So you're both wrong again.
I knew it was between those two. I couldn't.
All right, last one. This one's the most difficult one. Who has more screen
Screen
time?
time.
Let's say the alien thing.
C C3PO, Leia Organa, or R2D2?
Ah, give me like a.
R2.
I can't even remember when R2 was in it.
Well, you gotta try and remember.
I can't
Mark's
remember.
saying R2.
Yeah. Um,
We
let's
need an
go.
answer.
Leia.
Leia? Yeah, lock it in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We do have a winner.
Ooh, well, we
It's
have
not
to, I
very
guess.
fast.
So
Well, not really.
C3PO was not the answer. C3PO has 10 seconds.
I don't remember.
R2D2 also has 10 seconds.
Oh no.
Leia has 15 seconds.
Oh no.
Jack
Jackpot
with
again.
another win.
And guess what, Mark?
Congratulations.
I only went Leia because I only remember the scene with Leia. I couldn't remember
I'll
the.
tell you why I said R2. I know he's in the scene with C3PO, but I thought he was also in the scene with Leia.
I don't even remember the scene with those two.
So I thought he was with both, so I went with R2.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Well, didn't pay off. Jack, you are killing this game.
Somehow pulling it out my butt.
Well, as long as you guys enjoy it, that's the main thing.
Yes.
All right, I want to finish with a couple questions because I didn't make up these questions just for no one to answer them.
Yep.
First question, and this is probably going to be explored in Andor season 2. What do you reckon happened between Saw and the rebels to cause such a division?
I'm assuming it's just
Because
something
because
terrorist act and they didn't agree with it.
Yeah, I think it's just the way he went about things.
do you reckon it's I forgot his name, who he went after, or not after, but sacrificed. So there was
Oh,
like a fleet
yep.
that
And
was
then
sacrificed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Saul wasn't for it, or was he for it?
he wanted to sacrifice them, I
Yeah,
think,
that's right. He was
Yeah,
for it.
but so
Anyway,
did Luthen.
but no one else did.
so that
No,
wouldn't have been it then.
Luthen wanted him to, though, didn't he?
Oh wait, yeah, Saul wasn't maybe then.
No, Saul didn't want. Saul didn't want to do it.
Surprises me though. Maybe that was a change. He became the terrorist.
Maybe, but do you reckon that's the reason why there's a division, or there could
No,
be another
I
reason?
think there was more to come still.
Yeah, or maybe he kills someone major in the fleet for like a sacrifice or something, and they don't like it.
Personally, I just
The cogs are turning. What if Saw kills Luthen? That
Yeah,
would
but
be
Luthen's not likely
massive.
upon the rebels that much though. He's like because he's done bad stuff too. So I don't think that would be the reason. But that could
well,
actually
to be fair, Mon Mothma. So Luthen is the middleman between Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera, is he not?
yeah,
And Mon
Mon
Mothma
might hate that.
says,
Yeah.
"Huh?
Mon might actually hate that. True.
Yeah, because she doesn't she say we don't deal with those terrorists or something like that
I don't know.
Something
in
along
Rogue
those
One.
lines.
In Rogue One,
Yeah, but that could be that could actually be a good one.
What if Saw kills Mon Mothma's daughter?
That would be
We don't see her in
I
any
don't know why
footage.
he
We
would
don't
do
know if
that.
she's in Ahsoka or
if
not.
that happens, then no one's gonna like Saw. That is neck
Yeah,
level
but I don't know why he would do it.
I don't know. Maybe
for a reason.
she's been a bit of a. I'm
Big
not going to say that word. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Or maybe conspiracy theory. Mon hires Saw to assassinate her daughter.
No, don't be stupid.
I know. I know.
All right, next
All right.
question.
Next question. This one might require a bit of thought. Was Lyra Urso a Jedi?
Nah.
I'm not thinking.
Hmm.
I'm not thinking.
Interesting.
We don't need more. We don't need more.
No, but just
Everyone being
okay.
Jedi.
That's fine. No one has to be Jedi, but just thinking about the situation she's in. She's first of all, she's got a kyber crystal that she's been hanging on to for ages. Second of all, she's in hiding, and I know technically it could be away from the Empire, but
She was not Jedi like though, and I feel like if she was,
really,
I
the
feel
thing
like
she believes in the Force.
yeah,
No,
but I
but
feel like if
Acts
she was a Jedi, she could have done a lot more to
protect the
protect them.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
What
wouldn't.
if she was just so cut off from being a Jedi that she just
That would be so lame if it was then, because she would protect her daughter too,
Yeah, she would be able to protect them a lot better if she had the Force or even a
and then
lightsaber.
she was going to hiding again. If she
okay?
had,
Let me change the question. Do you reckon she's Force sensitive?
maybe if anything, it's a bit like I forgot
Well,
his
anyone can be force
manga.
sensitive. That's a bit hard to know.
Well, I was thinking because we were talking about Padme being force sensitive the other week. I thought, you know,
Yeah, I don't know.
I still think she is.
You can argue a lot of stuff with those kind of characters. You know what I
Fair enough.
mean? There's a lot of, I think, reasons for both.
All right, next question. Why did Mark? You can answer this one. Why did they park so far away from the house?
I
Dramatic.
don't know. Good question.
Oh, you don't
Maybe
have the answer?
because, huh?
Don't worry. It's all
Maybe
right. Yeah,
just
yeah.
because I don't know. Maybe because it was too dangerous to fly close to a cliff, a hill.
Yeah. I
Fair
always thought
enough.
it was a dramatic entrance to make
Obviously,
him look
yeah.
threatening.
Obviously, yeah. That's probably what most people would suspect. This one will definitely require a bit of thought, and this is my last question. If you could change one scene in this movie, what would it be? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I think the obvious answer, for me at least, would be changing Saw's death. I think incorporating that into something a bit later or something different would have been a bit more impactful.
I've got one actually.
Mm.
Very much fan servicey though. I always thought I understand why they had the scene with Darth Vader in the hallway, but I thought that it would make more sense for him to be on the. I know that they closed the thing up, but it would have made more sense for him to like. But then he would have to figure out a way to get off the planet. But I would have thought he would be sent onto Scarif to stop that from happening. That's a major leak in the system.
Oh
You
yeah,
would
good
think
point.
Yeah, but they didn't know what they were going for.
he knew. He knew about the plans.
What?
They all knew eventually that they were going for the plans.
I guess
I
so,
think
but
I
there's
think it
so
was
many
when
plans there.
yeah, but no, I think it was oh yeah, good point actually, Mark. That's good
No, but they know
good
about it
good
though
retaliation.
because
Yeah,
of
but
what's
yeah, I
his
know, but they could be there for
They could be there to steal
but
plans for some
the
weapon that,
Empire didn't know that they saw the were
and
going
they
for the play
didn't
or
know
saw
they had the
Galen's
name
message.
Stardust.
true. I mean, yeah, true. But I know, but they sent Darth anyway on the ship above, waiting for them to deliver it up. You know what I mean? So I
Mm,
thought maybe him actually. Cause I don't know. I felt like that was just kind of obviously it looked cool and everything, but I felt like it was kind of not how Darth would do it.
yeah, okay.
Too risky to, go through in that kind of way. I think he would be a bit more strategical with that.
Okay.
That'd be my change, a different Darth
Yep.
approach.
Mark?
I can't think of anything really.
Okay.
And Saw's one would be good too.
That's right. It is a tough question. I just thought, given that we all generally like, is there like something we could nitpick that
We should do that with the
we
other
could
movies.
change?
Have other ones we could have like
Do you want to do this going forward?
going forward. I reckon we should, so everyone thinks ahead of time too.
All right.
Good
I
ones.
do have a question about it though. Do you just mean moving some part of the story to another area, or like completely changing how the story went?
Both.
You can be both, yeah.
I think whatever you think, if you think it's better later on in the movie or earlier on, or if you think it just needs to be redone or like something minor tweak on it, and then it'll be a better scene. Yeah, something like that. Anything.
Yeah.
Free choice.
No, I can't think of anything. So
That's all right.
That's all good.
Make sure when you watch A New Hope
Mhm.
you watch out for any scenes you could change or might want to change. But that brings us to the end of a very long and great discussion.
Very good.
oh yeah, we just love Rogue One so much. We had so much to say.
And you know what's crazy? We could still talk about this and Andor more, like for a couple
Yeah,
more hours, but we won't
easily.
because we're very much going over what we thought the time of the episode would. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will catch
Thank
you
you very much.
guys next week. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.